Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by the following: IU Health Southern Indiana physicians, primary care and specialty care providers now accepting new patients in Bloomington and throughout South Central Indiana. siphysicians.org. The IU School of Education, preparing teachers, scholars, and administrators to improve teaching and learning in Indiana and around the world. More at education.indiana.edu. Smithville Fiber, the Gigacity Company, fiber internet, HD, and digital IPTV in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. Indiana University Alumni Association, linking IU's network of over 650,000 alumni and sharing the Indiana spirit through scholarships and volunteer opportunities. alumni.iu.edu. And by WTIU members. Thank you.
Coming up on Indiana Newsdesk.
People living in small Indiana townships, like this one, say they value the personal feeling of government here. But a bill at the State House could mean big changes are on the way. Coming up, we'll give you the details.
Governor Eric Holcomb State of the State address focused on his key pillars, but his brief comments about Department of Child Services garnered as much or more attention.
We've engaged outside experts to conduct a complete assessment of the safety and welfare of our children.
And we'll look at Bloomington's comprehensive master plan, a long-term guide to the city's future.
It's not going to answer those questions, down the road, but it gives us that first step in the direction we want to head.
However, some residents worry the plans don't do enough to curb large development projects. Those stories plus the latest news headlines from across the state right now on Indiana Newsdesk. Welcome to Indiana Newsdesk. I'm Joe Wren. Hundreds of rural Indiana communities could see big changes if a proposed bill makes its way to the governor's desk. House Republicans want to eliminate roughly 1/3 of the state's townships. They say doing so would save money. But as Barbara Brozier reports, people living in those small communities say it will come at a cost to them.
Mary Frances Hostettler is flipping through a notebook she kept from her time as Jefferson Township trustee.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
She's counting the number of calls she received from township residents each month.
You're really on call 24/7.
There's just over 1,100 residents in this western Owen County township, but they kept her busy during the 12 years she oversaw the community. Township trustees have a long list of duties, including everything from providing fire protection to maintaining cemeteries. And many of the calls trustees get are from residents who need township assistance for propane, electric, or food.
Most times it's a matter of, I've hit a rough spot, someone's gotten ill, we're temporarily unemployed.
It's government on a personal level that folks here are used to. There's nowhere to buy gas or milk in their township, but people here know who they can count on when they need help.
It's a nice rural area.
But big changes could be coming to places like Jefferson Township. A bill being proposed at the State House would require townships with fewer than 1,200 residents to merge with another one.
A blanket law isn't going to be to the best advantage of every person in the state of Indiana.
This isn't the first time legislators have considered changes to Indiana's township government structure. Former Governor Mitch Daniels charged the Indiana Commission on Local Government Reform with coming up with recommendations for a better local government structure. The Kernan-Shepard report followed. It included a recommendation to shift township responsibilities to the county. The Indiana Township Association opposed that plan, but they support this year's bill.
We have been listening to the folks that are in these chambers tell us that if we do not reform ourselves, that they will do it for us. So that brought us to the table to negotiate the best deal that we could, rather than lose our township boards or township government altogether.
The bill also addresses issues of accountability among township officials, putting salary caps on township board members, and giving people options for recourse if a trustee denies them an application for aid. But it's the proposed consolidation that everyone is talking about.
I've had a lot of questions about how does this affect the configuration of my school corporations.
The Indiana Farm Bureau came out against township reform last time legislators considered it, and the organization maintains that position with this new bill. Hall says people in rural communities value the low costs and efficiency of township government.
We're pretty confident that when this plays out that there will be a shifting of taxes from the neighboring townships onto these ones that generally are going to have a lower budget right now.
It's unclear how much money consolidation could save the state or cost the impacted townships. But people living in these small communities don't really care. Jefferson Township is part of their identity. It's home, and they don't want that to change. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Barbara Brozier.
The Township Reform Bill wouldn't go into effect until 2023. It will have its first hearing at the State House next week. Now for headlines, we go over to Lindsay Wright, who has the latest on this week's top stories.
Thanks, Joe. Indiana Governor Eric Holcomb reiterated the key pillars of his agenda during his State of the State address earlier this week. He touted new goals for workforce development and touched on the controversy over the Department of Child Services.
Holcomb says he wants to reassure Hoosiers his administration will do whatever it takes to fix problems at the Department of Child Services. Controversy erupted last month when former director Mary Beth Bonaventura's resignation letter said Holcomb administration policies would lead to child deaths. The governor says he's committed to the issue, grateful to caseworkers, and applauded his choice for new DCS director Terry Stigdon.
We've engaged outside experts to conduct a complete assessment of the safety and welfare of our children. We'll be transparent, and we'll provide you directly with progress reports.
Senate Minority Leader Tim Lannon says that's not enough.
I think it's going to have to be concrete plans on, identification of what the issues are, what are the solutions, what are the resources that are needed.
Holcomb's address also included new specific benchmarks, including thousands of Hoosiers enrolled in high-demand, high-wage education and job training programs by the end of the year, and a multi-year goal to ensure more people leave the state's prison system having graduated from certificate programs.
Add all this up, and we're talking about more than 1 million of our fellow Hoosiers that need and can be skilled up.
Republican legislative leaders say Holcomb's benchmarks are a bold step in workforce development. House Minority Leader Terry Gooden applauded Holcomb's plan, but says he was disappointed by what he didn't hear.
What we've got to talk about is not only do we bring those people back into the education realm, but what about how do we tackle the huge mountains of debt that people may occur when they come back into the education realm?
Holcomb also set a 6-year goal for a better infant mortality rate than any other state in the Midwest.
We'll take an important step this year by working with you to implement a levels of care program to assure that the highest risk babies are delivered at hospitals with the facilities to meet both the needs of the mother and the baby.
Indiana currently has the 7th highest infant mortality rate in the country, worse than any neighboring state.
And with a shortened legislative session this year, the governor will only have 5 weeks to get his agenda through the House and Senate. And Indiana Chief Justice Loretta Rush told lawmakers in her State of the Judiciary address the state's court system is prepared to meet the major challenges it faces. That includes the ongoing opioid epidemic. Rush says she asked legislative leaders for input when preparing her speech. She says what she heard most was response to the drug crisis.
This is a situation where well-reasoned, evidence-based judicial interventions can get people to treatment, give consequences, cut the supply, support families, and save lives.
Rush pointed to several recent initiatives she says will help the judicial branch tackle that challenge. Those include a complete restructuring of the state's court system and continued technology upgrades. She says improved tech would include a system that blocks the sale of drug ingredients from certain buyers. Terre Haute city leaders are considering taking on another loan to meet this year's budget. Mayor Duke Bennett says the city receives tax disbursements in June and December, but the city won't have enough cash saved up to meet expenses. He says taking a loan out from First Financial Bank is the best option.
There is no alternative unless, the council approved the budget for this year, so they approved our spending plan. They know what our situation was. We went through this in our budgeting process.
Bennett says the challenge has to do with property tax cap laws that have been plaguing the city over the past few years. Last year, the state ordered the city to make up its $8 million deficit. The city of Bloomington is inching closer to approving a comprehensive master plan. As Tyler Lake reports, the document is meant to help guide future city policy.
The Bloomington City Council heard amendments and outlined the schedule for voting on the comprehensive plan at a meeting this week. The master plan shares several goals with the former growth policies plan.
Well, I wouldn't say it changes so much. I think, many of what's in the current draft form that City Council is deliberating is very consistent with the growth policies plan. What has changed is this plan is much more comprehensive, in my opinion.
City Council member Chris Sturbaum proposed an amendment to the plan that would protect the city's older, single-family neighborhoods. That amendment passed this week.
By densifying, you pretty much change the zoning of single-family neighborhoods. And I'm a veteran of helping to save this neighborhood from the early days when zoning didn't protect it. And so I know what single-family zoning means, and I know the dangers to our neighborhood if we lose it.
It's been more than 15 years since a comprehensive plan was updated. Sturbaum says many of the new changes are in reaction to the city's strong population growth, including IU students.
And the analysis of the plan is we need more affordable housing in Bloomington. That's a given. What we're talking about is how to do it.
Many of the changes aim to shape the face of the city in new ways. But Robinson said the document also helps city government run more smoothly.
There's a lot more language to help policymakers. It also helps set expectations for members of the community. It gives direction to departments on helping with their strategies and guidance.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Tyler Lake.
Council members could approve a final version of the master plan by the end of the month. Orange County leaders say they've reached an informal agreement with the local Amish community that could help cut back on damage to local roads. Officials say the spikes and studs used on horseshoes are wreaking havoc on county pavement. Commissioners spent months meeting with residents to come up with a solution.
We did over $2 million worth of paving in Orange County last year. And within a few weeks, we were already seeing evidence of damage from horseshoes on the new pavement.
The agreement says that Amish residents can use heavy-duty horseshoes from November to April. Dixon says that would be equivalent to using snow tires on a car. And Joe, this is an issue communities have been trying to sort through for quite some time. So hopefully this helps.
Absolutely. Not just there, many parts of the state.
Right.
Thanks, Lindsay.
You're welcome.
Coming up next on Indiana Newsdesk. The Indiana legislature is in full swing. Coming up, we'll give you a look at what lawmakers are talking about this year. And rural areas are hit hardest by the opioid epidemic. Coming up, we will hear about the struggle with addiction in the heartland. These stories and more right here on Indiana Newsdesk.
The WTIU WFIU news team connects Indiana to the world. We bring you the top news of the day on radio, TV, and online. We round up the stories that have people talking each week and dig deep into the issues that affect your community the most. The WTIU WFIU news team is where you are and telling your story.
$10,000.
15? 15, you think?
20, 21,000?
600.
20. 18 fine.
24.
It's at least 40.
Look at it.
4,500,000.
650.
20.
650.
This textile would be worth about $500,000.
$500,000?
No way.
I knew it's just a blanket.
Laying on the back of a chair. Well, sir, you have a national treasure.
Wow.
A national treasure. Congratulations.
I can't believe this.
Welcome back to Indiana Newsdesk. Well, we know alcohol laws will be among the most hotly debated issues at the Statehouse this year, and that discussion got underway this week. A Senate committee unanimously approved legislation that would allow grocery, convenience, and liquor stores to sell alcohol on Sundays. As Lindsay Wright reports, it's the first time Sunday sales legislation has ever advanced in the Senate.
Public Policy Committee Chair Ron Alting is the author of the Senate's Sunday sales bill. He says a key to its passage is support from both grocery and liquor stores. This is the first time those groups have ever agreed on the subject. Alting also stresses he doesn't want any changes to the measure.
In the past, we have been too restrictive to the entities that it affects, meaning we have tried to do certain things of putting alcohol behind counters in big box and a separate person to ring it up and all kinds of obstacles that quite honestly just didn't go over well.
The bill simply allows stores that sell alcohol 6 days of the week to also sell it on Sundays from noon to 8 p.m.
Our membership has long supported this expansion. The Chamber supported the expansion of Sunday sales on the basis of market competition and consumer choice.
The measure now heads to the full Senate. The Indiana Retail Council, which represents grocery stores, is one of the many groups that has rallied around this year's Sunday sales push. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Lindsay Wright.
Legislators are also considering how to fix a school funding shortfall. A proposal unanimously passed out of a key committee earlier this week. The plan would make up to $75 million available in the 2018 and 2019 academic school year. Public schools currently face a $16 million deficit, and lawmakers expect that number to go up when more data is available. The funding gap was caused by a miscalculation in school enrollment. Around 6,000 more students attended public schools this year than expected. Schools could be forced to teach computer science at elementary and middle schools if another piece of new legislation passes. The Senate Education Committee heard testimony on the bill this week. It also requires computer science be offered as an elective at high schools, and it earmarks money for teacher training. Technology companies and several teachers supported the legislation, but there are also concerns about the cost to schools and whether or not rural schools would have sufficient internet access. The committee is expected to vote on the bill next week. And the Commons in Columbus is a community gathering space, event space, and for young visitors, a sprawling playground. As Tyler Lake reports, the city is planning to modernize the space to keep up with the kids and the times.
The Columbus Commons is a sleek, modern building in the heart of the city. It's finished with blonde woods, glass, and chrome fixtures. In the center stands a massive moving sculpture of whirring wheels, mirrors, and cogs. The gears on the sculpture turn noisily, but if you listen closely, you can hear the laughter of children spilling in from the room next door.
The Commons itself is kind of thought of as the community living room, and so the playground is just kind of a staple.
The playground is smattered with vibrant primary colors in all shapes and sizes. Most surfaces are covered with a soft rubber material to lessen the impact of falls.
It's amazing the enjoyment and vigor that our guests have on the playground.
Even though it looks bright and shiny, the playground is 7 years old and starting to show its age. Seth says the playground is often busy. Weekends and school vacations, though, are when the playground is in high demand. The amount of traffic is part of what brought about the need for an update.
It's a good problem to have, that the playground is so beloved.
She says the towering Lucky Climber is the only element of the playground that will not see much change, but the rest is likely to be updated, following feedback from residents.
Our efforts with the Commons staff and the Commons board, we're here to listen to the community. We certainly we want and request their input. This is their building, so we certainly want to make sure that it reflects what the community expects of us.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Tyler Lake.
The city recently started working with a design group. Public input sessions are expected to begin soon. Figures from the Centers for Disease Control indicate drug overdose deaths in rural areas are surpassing those in urban communities. Miranda Fulmore has more on what Hoosiers and lawmakers are doing to combat the epidemic.
Weaving in between southern Indiana's rolling hills, State Road 46 passes through a rural but well-traveled part of the state. Brown County is known for farming, shopping, historical sites, and parks, and is home to 15,000 people. However, rural parts of the state are also becoming known as the center of the growing opioid epidemic.
It's like anything. If you want it, you can find it. I don't think that's an issue.
Payne was an addict for more than a decade. He spends his spare time talking to kids about his struggle with substance abuse.
I still am a full-blown addict. I will always be an addict. And, it's easier for me to go outside these doors right now and get high than it is to sit in here and talk to you.
Last week, around 400 Hoosiers heard Payne speak at the Boone County Fairgrounds in Lebanon for a rural opioid addiction symposium.
Kids are like cats. They're very curious. They want to know how it makes them feel and what's it do, But, with telling them that, you also got to tell them the end results of what's going to happen.
Payne says he's been clean for 11 years, but the temptation is always there. He says just within the past 6 months, he's seen several students die from drugs.
You just hate to see them go down that road because it's a long road, and sometimes it's a short road, especially with heroin and some of the things they're getting their hands on now,
But Indiana is making some progress.
Opioid prescription rates have come down in the state of Indiana. That's good news. They're actually down 25% over the last 4 years. The bad news is we still have the 11th highest opioid prescription rate in the country.
The executive director for drug prevention, treatment, and enforcement, Jim McClellan, says the most effective long-term approach to preventing substance abuse is first focusing on Indiana's youth.
I heard in another county a few weeks ago 2 instances of great-grandparents who are raising the children because both the parents and the grandparents have substance abuse problems.
McClellan says they plan to continue their fight against the crisis by having more opioid symposiums and creating mentoring programs for children impacted by their parents' addiction.
Nobody can do it on their own, but no drug dealer nor cartel can stand against families, schools, churches, and communities united together.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Miranda Fulmore.
A Brown County historic site that celebrates Indiana Impressionist T.C. Steele is getting a new permanent exhibit. The Friends of T.C. Steele State Historic Site will create a replica of the partner studio wagon. A $44,000 grant from the Indiana Historical Society will pay for the project.
We at the moment are a site which is really built for adults. And this wagon is the opportunity for us to have kind of an interactive, educational, historic platform for children to come here and kind of into play and to think about history and to think about T.C. Steele, to think about what Indiana looked like at the turn of the century. So this studio wagon is going to be an interactive exhibit. T.C. Steele had a studio wagon that was built for him, custom built in 1896. He used it to tour all over the state. What it meant was he could take his family, his wife and his daughters. They traveled, the first trip was actually to Bloomington from Indianapolis because Steele would be painting. He would have commissioned portraits, but he would also be spending time in the countryside painting Indiana. And as you know, anytime you're going out on the road, and if you're a painter, you have a lot of supplies. The studio wagon allowed him to travel in comfort. It burned in a barn fire in 1913. So the original wagon is not here, but we've heard about it. And it's just a fascinating kind of picture. What was it like to be with Steele on the road as he's out and about painting Indiana? We are going to rebuild this wagon, and we are going to fill it with art supplies, and it is going to be a permanent signature exhibit for T.C. Steele. So it will be accessible to all visitors 3 seasons of the year. We are incredibly lucky to have so many original pieces. We have 350 paintings. We have 211 acres. We have this great wealth of history and artifacts at our disposal, and so many people don't know that we're here. But I think the studio wagon could really change that in a way, because it'll be a chance for a younger generation to come out and get to know the site, not necessarily through the paintings, but through the land. And then from there, hopefully, they can come to see the full picture.
Officials say the group hopes to unveil the outdoor exhibit by the end of the summer. And after some freezing rain, sleet, and snow, there is likely more winter weather to come. The National Weather Service says up to a quarter inch of ice and 1 to 3 inches of snow will create hazardous conditions across much of south central and southern Indiana. That's the end of this program, but our work continues online as we cover the news throughout the week at WTIUnews.org. Have a great weekend.
Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by the following: IU Health Southern Indiana physicians, primary care and specialty care providers now accepting new patients in Bloomington and throughout South Central Indiana. siphysicians.org. The IU School of Education, preparing teachers, scholars, and administrators to improve teaching and learning in Indiana and around the world. More at education.indiana.edu. Smithville Fiber, the Gigacity Company, fiber internet, HD, and digital IPTV in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. Indiana University Alumni Association, linking IU's network of over 650,000 alumni and sharing the Indiana spirit through scholarships and volunteer opportunities. alumni.iu.edu. And by WTIU members. Thank you.